thing that you need to figure out how to manage very, very importantly is cost. Because ultimately, no matter how much money you make, it only matters how much money you keep, right? So you could make £1 billion, but spend £1,000,000,001 to make that amount of money. And it's not such a good, and I use not such because if you could make some losses for a couple of years and then break even, but there has to be a plan, a break-even plan, a profitability plan. It has to make sense. Even Amazon, was able to turn profitable after 20 years. But if it's a recurrent pattern of not managing our costs, then that's bad. And the reason why I want us to track cost is that usually as businesses grow bigger, the tendency that we would get wasteful is a lot more, right? And even for us as a business, we just realized more recently that there's an area of our business that we've been quite wasteful, and we're trying to fix that, and we've tried to fix it, and we've been successful, by the way. But we didn't realize until I had an opportunity to meet with a friend and I had a session with him, and something that would take us about 4 weeks to do, he was able to get done in about 60 minutes. And I'm like, okay, what's happening here? And I realized that even with us, as we get bigger, what happens is that there's the tendency that we become wasteful. There's a tendency that we lack efficiency. There's a tendency that we throw money at a problem because we have it, and oftentimes that's not always a good thing, right? Most businesses fail not because of how much money the business doesn't make, but because their cost was too high and killed the business. Most businesses die under the weight of recurrent expenditure, right? So you want to check, how much are we spending? Where are we spending it? Could we spend less and get the same results? Could we be more efficient? Could we, and sometimes, being cost effective might mean hiring better quality people so that you have less staff turnover, right? But the reality here is that you have to ensure that you measure costs, right? How much money, not just how much money are we making, which is revenue, it's also how much money are we saving, how much money are we spending, and is that too much or is that not as much, right? You need to measure leads and conversion rates, right? Leads and conversion rates. What is this? Leads is how many people are having conversation, how many people are we getting into our universe to have conversation with us about our business. And conversion is how many of those conversations become actual sale, right? Because sometimes, it's like you open a shop, for example, maybe 200 people walk into the shop and 5 people buy. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if it happens tomorrow and the next day and the next day, then we know what the ratio is. We know, okay, good. We need to get 200 people into the store for 5 people to buy, right? So why this is important is that it helps us with our marketing, right? So once we know how many leads we need to generate vis-a-vis how many sale we need to get based on our recurrent conversion rates, it makes our life a little bit easier. It turns what could be mysterious into a mathematical formula, right? If I know that I would get 1 out of every 100, if I want 1,000, if I want 10 people, I get 1,000. If I want 100 people, I get 10,000, and the list goes, on. So it's very, very important for us to be able to measure the leads and conversion, how we convert, and what exactly is happening, what the ratio is. Now, the principle behind this is called the law of averages. So the law of average states that if you do something over and over and over again, a ratio would appear, a pattern would appear. And that pattern is very, very important for us, because if we don't understand what that pattern is, we get frustrated sometimes when we're not supposed to be, right? And we get excited sometimes when we're not supposed to be, right? So for example, imagine if I don't know that 1 out of every 10 people, for example, that I speak with would buy my product, right? I might then get through 8 people and I'm frustrated already. And I wouldn't make the 9th call, I wouldn't make the 10th call. But on the other hand, if I also am not aware, I might call the first person and be overly excited, and then my expectation is over the roof, and then the next 9 people won't buy anything, right? So on the average, it's better to know what your averages are. it's better to know what the pattern is. And to do that, you need to track how many leads are we generating and how many people are buying and what is our conversion rate.